Good morning. Wait, look, I'm up. Then we gotta have coffee first. 'Cause you know how I talk to people. Good morning, everybody. Hi, it is Stacy and Michelle.
Hi, everyone.
Y'all just do not know how excited we are.
We are.
Coffee first before we get started. Yay.
Coffee sisters. We've been waiting for this moment for over a year.
Over a year. Michelle and I have never met in person. Good morning, Sarah Cam. Michelle and I have never, ever, ever met in person until an hour ago, hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Michelle is my bestest, dearest. We're going to talk about the importance of the support structure, but she is truly my sister in every way, who's navigated every ounce of this journey with us. So we're going to talk about support. And her birthday was 2 days ago, and mine is today, and so this is our birthday present.
We're both the same age, and it's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Stacy!
Thank you, baby. Excited. So I don't know how much we're gonna do, but she's everything. And support is so important, and I don't think anybody realizes what it's like. No, and we talked about it. You know, I know more about you than I probably know about friends I've had for 20 years.
I think you know me better than I know myself sometimes.
All the time, probably. Yeah. So we are, I just need everybody to know that I think that this is the thing that Michelle and I were talking about this morning, that PTSD doesn't control our lives. We tend to let it, and before we founded Loving My Veteran, and before when we were looking for support, we found each other on another support site, actually, right?
Yep.
We didn't realize that PTSD doesn't control our lives. You know, and I have to give a shout out to Damon, and I hope he's watching, but you know, Damon, I won't say let Michelle, because we have our own lives and we do this, but Michelle came out to see her daughter and then extended her ticket till Friday. And he dealt with that change very well and all the chaos that's going on.
I'm so proud of my veteran right now.
Yeah. And then yesterday when I got done and I said I'll close host Michelle, Carl drove 700 miles to get her. So.
Which is pretty amazing in itself, considering, right?
Yeah.
That was huge.
Schedule changes, it didn't bother. I mean, so you don't let PTSD control your life.
No.
And I think that was important to us. So, what else did we talk about? We talked about what the thing about it for both of us was learning through this journey.
Yes.
And being able to have support. Good morning, Jen, Meredith, Haley. I'm telling everybody.
Good morning, ladies.
Is being able to have the support and realizing that everything is not PTSD.
Right.
And that we had to call ourselves out.
We did, and that's one thing that we were able to do for each other. I mean, we often call it. You know, she tells me when my ass looks fat in those pants, and vice versa.
Yeah, we do because we get ourselves so wrapped up in PTSD that we forget that a lot of this is relationship. And I think the hardest thing for both of us was learning about self-care.
Yes. Because
we're so much like, my hair looks like doo-doo. I was just
beautiful.
I was just outside in the wind.
You look like sunshine.
Oh yeah. We have been married. We have never seen each other face to face until an hour and a half.
Yeah, we've never met. We've never touched.
We have been friends through social. From this group, virtual phone calls for a little over a year. But so the thing that we had to do was we had to learn about self-care, which we both were terrible at.
Very, very bad.
We are both type A, control freak, personality, got a list.
Take care of everyone else first.
Yep. Fix everybody else.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We don't need anything.
We don't need anything. And what we found we were collapsing.
Drowning. Yes.
Yeah. And so it was very important to us to learn that and learn to say, your ass looks fat in those jeans. And we'll do it to each other. Like, I'll call her and be like, Carla's such a jackass. And she's like, what did he do? And I'll tell her. And she's like, and why are you upset because you did this?
It gave me an opportunity to see within myself some of the issues were coming from me and my relationship with my veteran.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it because I wasn't taking care of myself. And like Carl tells you often, I think you're not good for anyone else until you're good for yourself first.
Yeah. And I think we just had that too this morning. That was the most hateful, to me, that was the most hurtful thing he ever said. It was really early into being together, and he said to me, he was doing something, and I'm like, but I want to do this. And he's like, I can't. I need to do this for me. And I'm like, and I'm like, but you call me your princess. And he says, but I can't be good for you if I'm not good for myself first. And I was like, well, that was selfish. Yeah.
Thinking you weren't the priority at the
right.
time.
I wasn't number one, and I was
Yeah.
really mad. And over time, I realized how right he was. That we had to learn to put ourselves first.
You do.
Your mental well-being.
And I know I'm guilty. I try to take care of everyone, my family, my children, my grandchildren, my veteran, everyone, without taking care of myself. But I found myself drowning, and as did you, and a lot of you out there are probably feeling the same way.
And we got in mental spaces.
Yes,
we do
we did.
we do it now. I mean, so people say that oh, you've done this, and I
Why
forget.
does he talk so much?
I don't know, babe.
Jesus Christ.
Carl hasn't even gotten awake yet.
One cup of coffee.
One
This guy
cup of
doesn't
coffee.
Shut the hell up.
God.
He's visiting with neighbors in the campground.
The people who doesn't like people, he's visiting with people. We walked out, they came running
That
out.
gentleman was quite chatty, though.
He was. We learned all about septic systems.
We
this
did.
morning.
Got educated.
But I think that so often people think that I fail when you go forward and you go back to that same behavior, because we do. We all do it.
I found myself doing that when I initially started instilling boundaries.
Yeah.
I found myself retracting and
Or
going backward.
we move the boundaries a lot.
Exactly, moving them around.
Yeah, Carl was like, I don't know where to grab, because you keep moving the boundaries and it's like this electric fence that keeps getting moved. But we find ourselves going backwards, and so then we think of ourselves as failing, and we're not really failing.
Not at all.
But we start to drown again, and then we have to take a deep look at yourself and say, hey, what am I doing that is different than before? And that's the importance of a support structure. That's what we try. What we have between us, we try to instill to everybody else in the group, because we do fail and we do make horrible mistakes.
But to point those out to each other and let each other know that it's okay. And that's a learning experience to grow from that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like the fact that I tell you, if you ask a question, we're going to tell you. Sometimes it is us.
Yeah.
And I know that we were struggling, both of us, and especially there was a time that Damon was really struggling. And he kept going in and out of this stuff, and Michelle's like, I just don't understand. And I'm like, Michelle, but we've taken everything away from him. I mean, and then she would point it out that I did the same thing to Carl later on, and she's like, well, remember when you told me this about Damon? Well, you just did that to Carl. And I'm like, oh, wow.
You don't realize it sometimes.
You don't. And to have somebody else be able to tell you.
Yeah. And be okay with that. Because it's a hard truth sometimes, but you need to hear it. And you need someone that'll call you out.
You guys drank all the coffee?
It's all made. All you gotta do is put more water in, and then hit the blue button. Yeah, we did.
Oops. Got two sisters together with coffee issues.
We're on like cup number 20.
I can tell you bounced off a damn wall.
I haven't bounced off the damn wall since I got up this morning.
We were a little bit excited.
We were just a tiny bit.
At least you slept.
I know you can sleep. Michelle and I'll even go to the pool in a little bit, and you can sleep.
No. The wackadoo next to us.
But to be able to have that, and then a lot of people feel like, well, if I talk about my veteran, he's gonna get mad. And Carl knows that Michelle knows everything, and I think Damon knows that I know everything. Just because you have to have that person
Just
where
woman to woman that relate.
well, and even veterans
spouse.
have battle buddies, and
Yes.
there's no different.
And that's exactly what we are.
Mhm.
Exactly.
There's no difference in that.
There's not.
And so I think that it's interesting that we have to do that, but that's where we are with everybody, and we try to treat everybody the same way. Like if you guys come to us and say, hey, we're failing at this, or this is happening and I don't understand why, and somebody says, well, hey, try this, and we trust me, we've tried things over and over and over again, and they're not working. And then we'll go, hey, why don't you try this? And so we kind of work it out together.
A different approach or work through it together.
Mm-hmm. And, when somebody asks us that, and then you don't do this, and you're not doing it, and then we'll be like, well, hold on a minute. I think the biggest thing with us was the day that we were talking about accountability, and I said, you got to let him be accountable. And she was telling me, well, you got to let them be accountable, and it's not just our veteran health, it is our personal life, it's our kids, it's
everybody. I mean, for the first time in my life, I've learned that I needed to actually set boundaries with family and friends, and something that I've never done. So it was a growing experience for me. It's hard sometimes you need someone to look on the outside looking in. It's hard to see when you get caught up in the daily.
Yeah, and I think that Carl keeps telling me you need to step out of the situation and take yourself out. I'm not good at that, okay? I'm like, I jump into every situation 2 feet right in.
Pick up the pieces.
You do.
I just jump in, full blast.
She just goes for it.
And it's hard for you to remove yourself from that situation when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so by having Michelle, who can sit to me and say, hey, let me look at it from the outside, it was really important to me.
Yeah, and you too, looking in. I mean, there's things that I didn't realize that I was doing, or things that I needed to address personally.
And I think
You get caught up in it.
It's not all PTSD, and we'll talk
It's
about
not.
that. I mean, there are days we'll call each other and be like, oh my God, he's a jackass. or I'm ready to kill him today. And we both, and it's funny because it's usually, I think that Carl and Damon are on the same cycle.
It's
because
weird. And you and I cycle together
Yeah.
too. If you're in a mood, I'm in a mood. So weird.
I'm always on my period.
You and Damon get
It's funny.
in asshole mode together at the same time usually.
No.
And Michelle and I usually get bitchy together on the same days.
At least be polite with yourselves, calling it bitchy.
What do you want to call me, bitchy? Asshole? Whatever you want to call us.
I'm the asshole.
But we're able to sit back and say, hey, it's not PTSD, it's you.
Personally, or relationship issues, or it's so easy to blame PTSD. I think on both sides. I think we all use that. It's easy to fall into that, to say that's what it is.
turns
When
into a
in all
crutch.
reality, a crutch, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, like, it's a relationship problem. I learned that the hard way.
I do too. And it probably was like it was like, I know for him, Carl used to tell me it's relationship. This is not PTSD. It's relationship.
It was hard for me to see that for the longest time, but once I did, it was a light bulb. It's like, it's definitely not.
And I like JC's comment. She goes, that's how I feel like now. I talked to him about how I found the support group, and he was actually supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anyone close, so you guys been like, y'all realize that I live in Georgia and Michelle lives in Colorado. So we've developed this bond.
It was cheaper to drive here than there.
True.
That's it in a nutshell.
And I just happen to be 4 miles down the road. So.
Right. So, we've been that far apart. And so you don't have to physically be in each other's presence. I think that's the one thing that we've learned, is that you don't have to be in each other's presence.
We can make a difference wherever we are.
Yeah.
And we've seen that happen.
And we
state
do.
to state, from Texas to Georgia.
Yeah, like we're all going to Texas. I can't wait to go see Nakia in Texas.
But that's completely different. We're there to help rebuild the house for Richard, not for visiting. That's work.
Oh, you're going to rebuild the house for Richard. We're going to sit around and tell stories. I don't know.
When did this turn into a union job, or do we have to have the rest of the engineers come involved? We have a female Army Corps of Engineers.
Sherman, what's that say?
She's in North Carolina. Her friend is there. Yeah. So yeah, it is. It is truly about the connections that you make, and because you're a lot of like-mindedness. There's a lot of we all have a common thread. We may not have walked the exact same journey, but we have a common thread.
And that thread that you can't oftentimes have with your family because they don't understand the dynamics of PTSD or your other friends. They just don't get it.
Sarah asks, is there a good way to determine if it's relationship or PTSD? No.
That's a great question.
No.
No.
You do over time. And let me just
It's a process.
Sarah, it starts by paying attention to dates and when he gets freaking cranky. And it also relies on him communicating to you that he's having a date, he's having a spot, he's stuck. Then you have to remember that. You have to put it in the Google Calendar to do it. But you have to remember those dates. Because this way you know when he's going to be on his period or not. Or when he's cranky, or whether you need to throw him a box of Tampax and a chocolate bar.
Carl has dates 365 days a year.
You put them on your Google Calendar.
But I am better at the relationship side and seeing it than you are. I was the one that's done this in the past.
Oh my God! Here we go again. La, la,
told
it is
you.
a song that never ends. Just
I
goes
also
on
told you.
and
You still can't debate when I'm right.
I tell them you're right all the time. No, so Sarah, is there a good way to determine if it's relationship or PTSD? And let me be honest, this is how I feel, and Michelle can chime in, put her 2 cents worth in. I don't think there is a difference. And I know this is going to sound, people are going to be like, what the hell are you just saying? I think when all relationships need good communication.
Yes.
Starts with coffee.
All relationships need good boundaries. And boundaries are not rules, and we'll talk about that too, but boundaries are not rules. And all relationships need respect.
Yes.
So those things are key. Communication, boundaries, and respect are key to relationships, and they're key to PTSD. So yes, there is a difference, but no, there's not a difference. And I know I just sounded like I made no sense.
It's
So
kind,
fix
well, it's
that
kind of
for
like a learning process. I mean, the way I stepped through it. That's how I learned, Sarah. If that makes more sense. I don't know. I guess you have to, obviously the dates that they were talking about. If you know specific triggers and so forth, and note those accordingly. But I don't know. It's just I guess analyzing the situation and just looking at it from all sides.
And I think that if you communicate, it is such a difference because, and I'll use the example of like Damon, for example. And I'm not picking on Damon. I just happen to know enough because of the thing. But, for Damon, one of his triggers is more a smell thing. And there's no way to pick that up. There's no way to know. Mm-mm. And it is the smell of iron that actually comes from blood. And I get it.
I couldn't relate to
I
that.
understand that because, thanks Nakia, I understand that because I've smelt that smell. So I kind of get it. But no, there is no, I don't think there's a true way to analyze, is it PTSD or is it relationship? Because I think when you build a stronger relationship, you can navigate the PTSD.
It's almost like it falls into place where you're going to recognize it more clearly than before. But it's definitely a process. It's been a learning experience.
And I think the things that we do to navigate the PTSD create the better relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I agree.
You have to start by communicating. And it goes back to, I mean, if I think of everything that I have learned along the way, the keys for me were learning, one, how it physically changes their brain, and that there's things they can and cannot do, and the physical change in the brain, that fight or flight. That was important to me to understand that, you know, for so long I heard people say, well, it's them and they can control it. No, it's not them and they can't always control it. There's truly
a physiological part people
to it.
Must understand that before you even, that's the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think the second thing I had to learn that was really important was
looking at Erica's different abuse situations that the what you do may be disrespectful to him and you were unaware.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Because it's learn to communicate your feelings.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you absolutely have to learn is you have to understand the mindset of a warfighter.
Yes.
That was a key thing to me, because I'd be like rattling off to Carl, oh look, we got to do this and this and this and this and
I
this
did
and
the
this
same
and this,
thing.
and I'm making all these lists and I'm doing all this shit, and he's looking at
And
me
there's
like,
the song that never ends. And there's the song that never ends.
True. We're in 35 feet together, so we're getting Carl's thing in there, right? So I think that was important when you understand how their protection mode, the fact that sometimes they push us away to get us out of their stuff. Do we always control our feelings? No.
Melissa's like, that is me.
Yeah.
No.
So that was really important for us, I think, to learn that. And then communication. Being able to say, not, Carl, you're doing this and this and this and this and this. How effective. And I feel that way when he'll say to me, well, you did. And we still argue over, in an argument, we argue over the way we're arguing. If that makes sense. Because he'll say to me like, well, we'll do something and be like, well, I did this, like where he was talking about where he did something and I took it that I was wrong, and that's not what he meant. He was taking ownership for his action, and I was like not doing that. I would say I'm sorry, but that isn't what it meant. So that communication was a big issue. And then once you get all those pieces into place,
Yeah.
it starts to make sense.
It does, and I think a lot of things will just fall in organically and naturally as you go. Once you get past that, I know Melissa just mentioned that she only gives Nick like 3 to 5 items, and that they have to be written down.
Oh, that would be nice.
You want your items written down?
But we're
No, I memorize
learning.
them all, but
Wait, why do I have to write them down for you?
you don't have to. That's the thing. I still memorize them. But you give me 20, I still only do 3 to 5.
And that was a mistake that I made. I had a big old list, and those were my expectations, and it was like, wait a minute, this is what I had to learn, that he needed to be accountable for things. I needed to be accountable for my things.
And I think the other thing that we do that really screws up a lot, and we have the peanut gallery in the background over there, Michelle said, is I have this list of, there's things that have to be done and things that need to be done. 2 separate lists.
That's a hard one to learn.
There's a have to be done and need to be done. And just because I feel it has to be done doesn't mean he feels it has to be done.
But when you're dealing with a woman who wants it done her way all the time, it's fine.
Type A.
That's awesome. That's not a problem. But when she has instant gratification issues,
I do.
That's where the shit.
I did.
I am Admiral Asshole because I'm floating in this shit right now.
Wait a minute now. I'm going to sing your praises. Nakia says, Carl, the ladies are still on a learning process. They will get there.
I don't care.
We're learning.
We're learning. But that, I think that
I
was...
learn more about myself, I think, than
That's the point.
anything.
Yeah, it's not always on our time. And I think that was the thing that... But I do think there's a difference between our time and veteran time.
Oh, absolutely. I know they hate it when we say that, but there is veteran time and then there's our time.
Yeah, it's called hurry up and wait.
Or wait, and then I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Because we're under a time crunch, so that we get it done. We get it done right the first time.
Or you ponder how we're gonna do this, or
like when you get upset with me because I didn't polish and buff the motorhome. What do? You wanted to go outside and do it yourself. Did I stop you? I said no. If you want to learn how to do it, let's go. You did a square 2 foot by 2 foot. This sucks. And I said, yes, I've got 35 feet of this to do. Why do you think I'm fucking putting it off?
Yeah, so you do.
wanted it done right then and there, so okay. If you want to learn, I will help teach you. I did not stop you from learning. I had figured if you wanted to see how much this is going to suck, do it.
Nakia goes, it's also a man thing. It is.
She's like, I'm almost 4 decades in. You are, sister.
So yeah, and so you do the thing about importance and priorities and schedules. Schedules were super important in the beginning. I can remember going to town and like I know we went to the car dealership. We had to drop something off at the car dealership to a friend. We had to go to Walmart. There was one other place, and then I know how much he likes pizza, and he happens to tolerate Papa John's because he's from Jersey and he doesn't like pizza.
I love pizza, just not that shitty pizza.
But I said on the way home, because it got later, I said, let's run by Papa John's and pick up pizza. And
He's
all of a sudden that was like, boom, I'm done, because it wasn't in what we had talked about, so therefore he couldn't perform an appropriate risk assessment, as I call it.
Did you leave out all the other stuff beforehand? Where, we're going here first, but you said, no, we're going there first?
Yeah.
And all the other shit changed along the way because it wasn't working out the way you thought it would work out?
Right, so
I was just following orders about where to go?
If you give them a schedule, stick to the schedule and stick to the order. Right? Stick to the schedule and stick to the order.
I asked you, where are we going first? And you said here. And literally 1,000 feet from the place, you said, nope, we're going here.
I did.
I know.
And that was that day with the car dealership.
I do it a lot.
I did that too, and I found that definitely wasn't the most productive. I still, on occasion, will do it. Like, we need to stop here and stop there, but he's been great and pretty adaptable.
He's much more patient.
Yeah. I think Damon's more patient too.
I'm just more like driving Miss Daisy.
Well, I think, okay, so just like it's hard to know if it's relationship or penis, but I think the other thing is this, and this was the hardest thing for me to truly get, is everybody would say, my veteran with PTSD, this is before Loving My Veteran started. My veteran with PTSD, veteran with PTSD, yada, 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 yada. Here's the bottom line. I love my veteran. I love Carl, okay?
And I
PTSD, no PTSD, it doesn't matter. That's the person I love. And that is part of our relationship. I have it, he has it. It's just part of our relationship. And you can sit here and define and put this weird title on it and say, well, I need to determine if it's PTSD or a relationship or a TBI or whatever. No, it is what it is. And it's inclusive. It's my veteran. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. Just like he loves me. Good, bad, bitchy, whatever. I am me. One person with all of my faults, all of my flaws, all of my issues, but he loves me anyway. And I love him regardless. And I think when you get into trying to pigeonhole a situation into PTSD, you're doing the wrong thing.
And you'll drive yourself insane trying to put together that puzzle, just so you know. It's not, yeah,
I think when I stopped,
creates chaos.
when I stopped focusing on what was PTSD,
Yes.
and just this is Carl,
Mhm.
it was a big difference.
I experienced the same thing.
It was a huge
Exactly.
difference. You know, and I think the other thing that happens to them is like, now not Carl so much because he won't go, but like they'll go to the doctor, or they'll go to the VA, or they'll go to whatever, and then they get these diagnoses, okay, and they're like, oh well, you have PTSD, but last year you had it at 90%, and this year we think you're only 70% PTSD.
Yeah, like it goes away or something.
Or you might be 50%. Oh, but because we want to change your medication, because you know there's 2 medications that are prescribed for PTSD, now we're going to label you as bipolar. And so now you're looking in your e-chart, right? So you're looking at this shit, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, so now I'm bipolar, and I'm this, and all these things define you, when the reality is none of
They feel
that.
defective. It just keeps coming at them, one diagnosis after the other.
But none of them define you.
They don't define who they are.
You
no.
are you.
Yes.
You know, you're not Michelle with MS, and I'm not Stacy with the angry liver. I'm Stacy, you're Michelle, and you're my sister.
Doesn't define who you are.
It doesn't define, and we do that, I think, way too often with...
It's easy. It's so easy to get caught up in it, though.
It is.
And like I said, I made the mistake of trying to determine what was what, you know, as a neurological problem. Is it PTSD? Is it relationship? Trying to navigate that puzzle drove me absolutely insane, and it created a lot of misery for me personally in my mind. Just, I had to learn how to step through that and get over that.
But that's why we keep telling Sarah, stop overthinking, stop overthinking, stop overthinking.
Ms.
Sometimes
Holbrooks, Ms. Holbrooks, he's speaking to you. Don't ever think. But
I know. It's hard. Like,
it is.
You get caught up in the overthinking and the anxiety and the whole chaos of it, and it
You
can
lose
get out of
focus.
control. You do.
Well, you begin to at that point say, oh well, is this going on because of PTSD? Is this going on because of
And you can't
bipolar? Is
figure
this
it
going
out.
on because of, you know, it's like when I get a headache, Carl's like, okay, is it from your liver? Is it from lupus? No, I don't know. I just have a headache. It doesn't matter what it's from. I just have a headache today.
Yeah.
And we tried so hard to define what's causing something, when the reality is it's already there. So either deal with it and let's work through it,
Yeah.
and stop defining it.
Yep. I know when I stopped trying to define it, my life got a lot easier. A lot more peace.
A lot
And-
less headaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more peace for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to get our candles.
I know. We have to celebrate.
We gotta just take them out and we'll put the candles on. Okay, no. So Michelle and our little stuff on. I want blueberry because I'm picky.
Blueberry streusel.
Gonna want to heat it up with butter, just to let you know.
No, there's no butter because I Paula deemed it.
I told you to have her steal the butter from her sister from her house.
That's good.
We're having birthday
Put your
muffins.
put a birthday candle.
I know where to go.
I don't know. Where'd you put the candles?
Behind the laptop.
1 minute, please.
One moment, please. We're having technical issues over here.
We're having technical issues. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
We got them right side up this time.
Got
They're
this.
supposed to be.
Happy Muffin Day. Why do they look like sparklers?
They're
If you
gonna
set
be
this bitch on
sparklers.
fire,
They're gonna be sparklers if I ever light the damn things.
Sparkly candles.
They say they're sparkly candles. We haven't quite gotten to the sparkly.
We have no
part yet.
sparkle.
We will.
Woo-hoo.
So these are our birthday
It's
to
our
each other.
sister. It's like happy birthday
To us.
to us. Finally
To
made it.
us. To us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love you.
I love you too. But y'all, support structure. It is so important that you can pick that phone. They're sparkling now. That you can pick up the phone, that you can call somebody, that
Yep.
you can message somebody. This is not a filter. We're really sparkling.
We're sparkling candles.
Carl's like, you're going to catch the thing on fire. So it is important that you find the structure. Support is important for all
Yep.
of us. You know,
And we're all here for each other.
we're not designed to do this alone
No.
at all.
Nope.
We're designed to do this with other people. And that's just the way it works for us.
So
And-
coming from two sisters who are now 55 at the same time, we're old as dirt, according to my youngest granddaughter.
She did. She said, Grandma, you're old as dark.
You're only old when you put the lipstick on the outside of your lips.
On the out here.
Yeah.
Outside.
Sorry. But it is just one of those days, and I am super happy. And
Special day.
when you talk about veterans not being able to care or show empathy or whatever, mine literally said, "Let's go."
Thank you, Nakia.
Thank you.
It is
to
one of
everybody.
the best birthday I've ever had.
Love's in
Me
the
and my
driveway,
sister.
loaded, just pull the trigger.
Carl, for him to be able to say, "Let's go," I think that's important.
And I have to thank Carl too for bringing her. I do.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
do shit, I just drove.
I know, but you did that for her to get her here,
And without a schedule.
and
I blew the
without
candle
a
out
schedule.
because it was going to get the thing on fire.
Yeah. I blew mine out too.
At least we didn't put 55 candles on there.
But mine keeps lighting again.
Because you're bad at blowing.
It won't blow. It
You're
keeps.
bad at blowing.
It keeps lighting. See, that's what a scissor's for.
To put your fire out when you're
Put
going to
my fire out. Show me light. I want myself on fire.
Oh, this conversation went south quick.
It's a happy day. It's
It
a happy
is,
day.
and that I think
Thanks, Sue.
that's the thing that we all have to understand.
Sarah, senior discount.
Do we get a senior discount?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
10% off each one of them damn muffins.
Will Starbucks give us a senior? I don't do Starbucks.
Yeah, we get a
anymore.
senior discount.
I'm not doing Starbucks anymore.
Easy
you
going.
Do you get your actual present big box?
What big box?
It depends.
Shut up, Carl.
Pamela says he's there on the age jokes. Say the slightly older woman.
Sue Lambert says Carl definitely deserves praises.
He does.
He
He
does.
does.
No, I don't.
And Damon for
Damon,
not
too.
freaking out.
Don't worry, y'all. I'm still an asshole.
Well, we didn't say you weren't an asshole. We just were praising you for being a great asshole today.
And,
so today I'm
and
a
thank
whole
you,
ass
honey,
of
for
asshole.
letting me stay this long and
Well,
enjoying the grandbabies and meet my sister.
as Carl says, we don't let us do anything. And for those of you who don't know, I have officially been put on baby watch. David's called on the way here and said, "Mom, the bags are packed by the door, and baby Hadley's coming any day, any moment now." And so my first granddaughter will be here
She's gonna be a grandma. Special
very
time.
shortly. So in the next couple days.
That'd be
probably.
awesome. She's born today on your birthday.
Yeah, I know, but my son was born on my grandmother's birthday, and I kind of think it's cool that they have their own day.
That's true.
So I know we've crammed way over because we could talk all day, and you people could just sit here and watch Michelle and I have a conversation with each other all day. But she is truly my bestie, and I could not have done this journey without you.
I couldn't have done it without you either. I love you.
Mm-hmm. And loving my veteran wouldn't be here without her,
Without you.
without us, because we bounce off of each
Who?
other. We love you. I mean, you and Jeremy helped us found it, but she's the one who I bounce things off of that is my greatest support structure.
Well, that depends.
And that's what we're here for.
That
for,
depends.
For all of you
You are
ladies.
such a jackass, Carl. God, get lots of photos. We will. We got to get the ones from Faith. Faith took them when we first saw each other.
Yeah. My daughter-in-law took the pictures right when we got here. Like right when we saw each other. It was amazing.
Yeah. So it is awesome.
It is.
No, we can't. COVID won't let me see her anyway till you can only have one person in the hospital, so we're all there. So all of y'all, just please know that reach out. That's what we're about. It is support. It is. I know people don't always like to hear that your ass looks fat in those jeans, but sometimes you just gotta hear it.
We're the jock strap. Of
But
the
that's
Army
where we
veteran
learn. That's where we learn from.
Did you just say that? Carl's cutting us a new commercial. We're the jockstrap of the veteran community.
We hold these nuts in place.
Oh my god.
That's what happens when you're sleep deprived.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just had like 1 hour.
I got 1 hour.
You guys have 1 hour sleep. We hold these nuts in place. Did you say that too?
Something like
That
that.
fits, doesn't it? We all have PTSD and TBI, so we're the jocks. We hold the nuts in place.
Oh my God, y'all! What a great day.
It is. It's perfect.
It's great. And then eventually, I'm gonna have dinner with my mama tonight.
Yay.
And when you hear Carl laughing in the background, yay! Carl always laughs in the background. But at least where we're sitting, Michelle, he can't walk behind us and pat us on the head.
Oh, that's true. No patting.
No Houdini, no patting.
Uh-uh.
I was kind of expecting that. Well, I'm gonna go eat my birthday muffin because I'm starving.
Yes, let's go eat leafy muffins.
Bye, y'all. Have a blessed day.
Bye.
Stacy and
Love
Michelle.
you all.
This has been Walking My Shoes, and we are loving my veteran, and we know Carl's hysterical. You ought to live with him.
At 5 miles to the gallon.
Most expensive birthday present I've ever had, babe. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.
Cool bean. We did a 40-minute